Yo, did you cancel my Xbox Live? It's not working.
Did you cancel it?
No, it was working fine yesterday.
I haven't touched it.
All right.
I stopped on a Wednesday, 6:52 in the morning. I was folding Trey's laundry, his third load that week, when he walked past the bedroom door without looking up and said, "Yo, did you cancel my Xbox Live? It's not working. Not good morning. Not thank you. Not even my name. Just did you cancel it?" I set his shirt down slowly. My hands were still warm from the dryer. I walked to the window and looked out at the driveway. Both cars. Both mine. The insurance on both of them. Mine. I picked up my phone and opened my notes app. I typed 4 words. Day 1. Clock running. I didn't say a word to Trey. I just stopped. Before I go further, I need you to understand something about me. My name is Noel Briggs. I am 33 years old. I have a master's degree in urban policy. I manage a mid-size housing advocacy organization. I mentor 3 young women on the south side of Columbus. I meal prep on Sundays, chair a community board, and still somehow manage to keep a household running for 2 people, when only one of us is actually doing the running. Petty is not something I do. I don't have time for it. This was not revenge. This was documentation. Trey Calloway and I had been together for 9 years. Married for 6. We met at a mutual friend's birthday in Cincinnati. He was loud in the best way. Magnetic, the kind of man who remembers your coffee order without being asked. For 2 years before we got married, he made me feel like I was the most important thing in any room. What I didn't understand then, what I was too in love to see, was that his effort had a condition attached to it. He gave when he was still trying to win. The moment he felt certain of me, the effort quietly packed up and left. First year of marriage, I noticed a utility bill I'd thought he was handling had gone unpaid for 2 months. He apologized, said things were tight, promised to catch up, covered it. By year 2, covering it wasn't even a conversation. By year 4, I had a household budget spreadsheet I updated every month that Trey had never once opened. My mother Paulette saw it before I did. She came to visit us the Thanksgiving of year 3 and pulled me into the kitchen while Trey sat on the couch watching football. "Baby," she said, keeping her voice low, "you've been in here for an hour and a half. Does he ever cook?" I told her I liked cooking. She looked at me with something I couldn't fully read at the time. Love and something heavier underneath it. "Noel," she said, "liking something and being the only one who does it are 2 different things." I carried that for years before I understood what she was actually telling me. My mother passed 14 months ago. Stroke. Sudden. Trey was at a conference in Nashville and came home 2 days later. I handled the arrangements, the hospital paperwork, the cremation authorization. I paid for all of it, and I still added his name to the sympathy card I sent to her church. So when I typed those 4 words on that Wednesday morning, it wasn't impulsive. It was the end of a very long calculation. The rules were simple. My half of the mortgage, my name is the only one on it, which I'll come back to, stayed. My own groceries when I was eating alone. My own gas. My own life. Everything else stopped. Trey's streaming accounts. His gym membership I'd been auto-paying since 2022. His phone plan. The household groceries I'd been buying without question for 6 years. The random subscriptions I'd absorbed into my budget because he never thought to ask whether they cost anything. All of it. Gone quiet. I called my best friend Priya that afternoon from my car. Priya has known me since we were 19. She is the only person I will say the completely unedited truth to. She listened to the whole thing without stopping me. "So you just stopped everything," she said. "Everything that was mine to stop," I said. "I want to see who he is when I'm not holding the floor up." She was quiet for a second. "What are you expecting to find, Noel?" I stared at the steering wheel. "The truth," I said, "about who I actually married." Day 3 told me something I couldn't unhear. I came home from work on a Friday with a headache I'd been ignoring since noon. Trey was already there. He was at the kitchen table, laptop open, jaw tight. I dropped my bag and opened the fridge. I'd intentionally left it understocked. That was part of the observation. I started heating up rice from the night before. Then he said it. "The Hulu account got flagged. Did you update the billing info?" I kept my back to him. "No, Noel. His voice had something in it. Not quite anger. Something more specific. Inconvenience. Did you forget, or can you just go in real quick? The show we watch drops tonight. I turned around. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking at the laptop. The show we watch. Like this was a shared problem. Like his name wasn't also attached to a functioning bank account. Like, can you just go in real quick was a sentence that made any kind of sense. I said, I think your card is fine, Trey. And I walked to the bedroom. Behind me I heard him exhale hard. Not quite a curse, but close. That sound told me more than 6 years had. By day 7, the shape of our marriage was becoming visible in a way it never had before. The strange what you see when you stop smoothing everything over. Trey moved through the house like a man who had always assumed certain things would be handled, and was only now discovering that handled had a person attached to it. He ran out of his protein powder on day 6. I'd normally have caught it on the grocery run and added it without mentioning it. This time I didn't. He stood in front of the cabinet, opened it, stared into it for a full 30 seconds. Then he closed it without saying anything. On day 8, his coworker Malik came by. Malik is one of those men who watches more than he talks. He'd been Trey's friend for years, and I'd always read his quietness around me as mild suspicion. Like he'd decided something about me before we were ever properly introduced. I was wrong about what he'd decided. He walked in, looked around the kitchen, half-stocked, no snacks out, no atmosphere of someone quietly running the household, and then looked at Trey. You been cooking? He asked. Trey laughed in a way that had no confidence in it. Noel usually handles the kitchen stuff. Malik looked at me, something careful in his eyes. Careful and specific. How you doing, Noel? Living, I said. You want water? I'm good with what Trey bought. The room went still for a second. Trey shifted his weight. Malik left about 20 minutes later, and on his way out he passed me in the hallway. He said, quiet enough that only I could hear, you deserve a full partner. I didn't know what he knew. I didn't ask. But I filed it away. That night, Trey was quieter than usual. Subdued in a way I'd never seen. I watched him from across the room and thought about what Priya had asked me on day 1. What are you expecting to find? I was finding more than I'd budgeted for. Day 11. I was working from home. Trey thought I was on a call in the back office with the door closed. I wasn't. I was sitting at my desk in silence, reading a report, headphones around my neck. I heard him in the kitchen. His voice dropped in that way voices do when a conversation becomes private. And then I heard a name I had never heard him use before. Jordan, I told you this isn't a good time. I stopped moving. Things have been off here. She's been different lately. No, I can't. Not tonight. I said no. My chest did something I don't have clean words for. Not racing. More like a controlled demolition. Like something very large coming down in perfect, inevitable sequence. He laughed then. Low and easy. You're wild, he said. Stop. That laugh. I knew that laugh. I used to be the person who got that laugh. I sat at my desk for 50 minutes after he hung up. I didn't move. I didn't cry. I just processed. Jordan. I opened my notes. Day 11. There is a Jordan. The experiment does not stop. It expands. I called Priya. I'm getting in my car, she said. Don't, I told her. Not yet. I have to think before I feel. She came anyway, the next morning, with an overnight bag and a grocery haul she'd bought entirely herself. She put a sticky note on her orange juice that said, do not touch Priya's. She is that kind of friend. We sat on the back porch while Trey was at the gym, on his own card, which I noted, and I told her everything. The Jordan call. The finances. Day 3. My mother's words. All of it. Priya listened without interrupting, which is how I knew she was worried. Then she set down her cup. Noel, I need to tell you something and I need you to hear it before you react. I looked at her. Back in March. Keisha, you know her. She used to work at Trey's company before she transferred. She mentioned something to me. Said there was a woman in his department he was close with. More than close, the way she said it. Priya held my gaze. I didn't tell you because I didn't have proof and I didn't want to wreck your marriage on secondhand office gossip. I kept waiting for it to be nothing. March. That was 4 months ago. I stood up, not out of anger at Priya. I understood why she'd waited. But I needed to be standing for what I was feeling. Because here is what hit me in that moment. For 4 months, while I was paying the mortgage alone and building grant reports and buying birthday cards for his mother and grieving mine by myself, there was a Jordan. What are you going to do? Priya asked. I looked out at the driveway, at both cars, at the house. Finish the 30 days, I said. I need the whole picture before I move. She nodded slowly. And then, I thought about what my mother told me once, standing in my childhood kitchen, looking at me the way only she could. Then I start over in something I actually own. Day 14, the halfway point. Trey had figured out something was different. He hadn't figured out what, but the pattern had shifted enough that he was starting to circle the edges of it. He cooked dinner that night. Pasta. Overcooked. I ate it without comment. You've been somewhere else lately, he said. Work has been heavy, I said. Noel. He set his fork down. Is something wrong with us? I looked at him across the table. This man I'd spent 9 years building something with. I thought about Jordan. About March. About my mother. About day 3 and the Hulu account and can you just go in real quick? I said, if something were wrong with me, if I was struggling, what would you notice? What would change for you? He frowned. What kind of question is that? Just answer it. He thought about it. Actually thought. I'd notice. I'd ask you. I nodded. Took a bite of pasta. Okay, I said. That's it? That's it. The truth was I believed him. He would notice. He would ask. And then he would wait for me to solve it. That had always been the pattern. Trey Calloway was a man who identified problems and then waited for Noel to resolve them. I'd just never seen it that clearly before. I typed 2 words into my notes under the table. Day 14. Clarity. Day 17. I want to be honest about what I did because this story doesn't work if I'm not. I took the name Jordan, the company Trey worked for, and the pieces I had, and I gave them to my colleague Dre, who I trust completely and who has a particular talent for finding information discreetly. 2 days later, he sent me a LinkedIn. Jordan Fess, 29. Account manager. Same company as Trey. Different floor. She was beautiful. I'm going to say that plainly because the story requires honesty. Objectively beautiful. And something in her profile picture. This easy, open smile hit me in a way I wasn't ready for, because I recognized it. Not her face. The expression. The ease of someone who hasn't yet been asked to manage everything while someone else takes up space. I didn't reach out to her. I want to be clear about that. Jordan Fess was not my enemy. She was a woman who may or may not have known the whole truth. I gave her every benefit of the doubt I had. My problem was the man who came home to me at night. I sat in my parked car in a CVS lot for 25 minutes staring at her photo. Then I called my older brother Caden in Memphis. Caden is 7 years older than me. He doesn't talk much. When he does, it lands. I told him everything. He was quiet for a long time after I finished. Then he said, "Don't move until you're certain. And when you move, move all the way. No halfway steps. You hear me?"
Stand here.
Yes. I'm flying in on day 30. I hadn't asked him to come. He'd already decided. That's what it means to have a brother like Caden. Day 22. I had planned to finish all 30 days. Trey ended that plan himself. He came home with an energy I'd never seen on him. Nervous and aggressive at the same time. The specific combination of a person who suspects they've been found out but hasn't confirmed it yet. He sat across from me and said, "Who did you have looking into me?" I didn't move. I don't know what you mean. Dre from your office. His voice was tight. He was asking around my company. People noticed. Dre had been less careful than I'd hoped. I felt a quick flash of frustration, then let it go. Trey leaned forward. "Noel, what is happening? What is this?" I set down the book I'd been holding. I said, "Who is Jordan?" The silence that followed was the loudest thing I'd experienced in 9 years of marriage. His face ran through 5 expressions in 4 seconds. I watched denial form behind his eyes. I watched him calculate whether it had any chance of working. Then I watched it collapse. "It's not what, don't," I said. "Just that word." He stopped.
I don't
I have been
speak
carrying
my
this
hidden
household for 9 years,
feelings.
Trey.
I
Every
don't
bill,
reach to
every
change your
payment,
way.
every card,
So
every
I
subscription,
bury all
every
my
card,
heartache
every expense
and
that
love
showed
you
up, I
from
handled it.
far
While
away.
my voice stayed level. I was proud of that.
Quietly
While you were building
keep
something
watching
with someone else. Hello,
like a
let me explain.
stranger
I know you can
passing by.
explain. I'm sure you're very good at it.
Outside
I
your
stood
love
up,
story,
but I don't need the
while my
explanation.
own
I
heart
already know
asks me
everything
why.
I need to know.
I'm
I
the
walked to the bedroom and
silence
locked
in
the
the
door. What
background,
Trey didn't know,
the one
what I hadn't
you'll
told
never
anyone except
choose,
Caden, was
loving
what I'd
you
been doing in the
without
background the entire 30
belonging.
days. 3 weeks before day one,
Everything to
I had
lose.
coffee with a woman named Sloan there. Sloan is a family law attorney. She also went through our nonprofit's homebuyer counseling program 3 years ago, which means she has no professional obligation to me. She gives me her time because she chooses to. We
Maybe
talked for almost 2
someday I'll
hours.
stop
I walked
hoping.
her through 9
Stop
years of financial
searching your eyes
history,
for me.
receipts I'd kept,
But until
spreadsheets
then,
going
I'll
back to year
stay a
1,
shadow
bank records,
where
the
your heart
mortgage,
will
solely in my
never
name because
be.
Trey's credit had a problem we were going to fix that never got fixed. Sloan listened to everything.
Keep
Then she
watching
said,
you
"You've been the
like a
documented
stranger
primary financial
passing
contributor
by,
for the entire marriage.
standing
You have the
outside
paper
your
trail."
love story,
She paused. You're
while
not
my
starting from
own
nothing.
heart asks me why.
You're starting from a
I'm
position
the
that most people in
silence
your
in the
situation never have.
background,
That
the
conversation
one
happened
you'll
before day
never
1,
choose,
before Jordan,
loving you
before day 3.
without
I had already
belonging.
known, somewhere underneath all the hope, that I might need a way out.
Everything
I
to
just spent 9
lose.
years praying I wouldn't. On the morning of day 23, I texted Sloan 2 words: "Move forward." She replied in under a minute, already prepared. That afternoon, I opened a new account at a bank Trey had never heard me mention. I redirected my direct deposit. I called the mortgage servicer, the mortgage I had been paying alone for 5 years, and began a formal sole ownership inquiry. Trey came home that evening to a woman who was cooking dinner and asking about his day. He didn't understand that the calm he saw was not peace. The calm was precision. Day 30. Caden walked through the front door at 10:45 in the morning. He looks like our father. Broad, quiet, the kind of man whose stillness
I still
reads
wait.
as authority without him trying. Trey had always been
Even
slightly
knowing
uneasy around him, and standing there watching them greet each
You may
other,
never return.
I finally understood why. Caden has never once been fooled by
I wait.
performance. He hugged me, held it for a second, then pulled back and looked at my face. "You look like yourself," he said. I hadn't known how badly I needed someone to say that. The 3 of us sat in the living room. I spoke first. "Trey." I looked at him steadily.
Your shadow
For 30 days, I
lingers
stopped
in
managing
the
things that were
silence,
yours to manage.
like a
I
song
watched
that
what happened when I
never
did.
ends.
I let that sit for
Every
a second.
corner
You
holds
noticed
your
the streaming
memory.
accounts before you
Every
noticed me.
night I
His jaw
break
moved.
again.
I found Jordan.
I know
continued.
time
I
has
know the
pulled you
timeline.
farther
I know enough.
to
I
a
paused.
place I
I've been
cannot
working with an
reach.
attorney. The
But my
mortgage,
heart
the accounts,
still
the 9
leaves
years
the
of financial
door
records, it's all been
open for a
reviewed.
dream
We're moving
beyond
forward.
belief.
Caden sat completely still beside me.
I'm
Not
still
performance
waiting
support,
for your
just present.
footsteps,
Solid.
though I
Trey
know
looked
they'll
between the
never
2 of us.
come.
Something went through his
Holding
face I
on
hadn't
to
seen before.
broken echoes
Not anger,
of a
not
love
denial.
already
Something more
gone.
like a structure
I'm
giving
still
way. A
waiting
man
for
realizing
your
the foundation he
return,
thought was
though
there
the
had been
stars
load-bearing
say
on one
it's
side for a very
untrue.
long time. So
Somewhere
that's it, he
deep
said.
inside
That's it, I
this
said.
broken
Not
heart,
in anger,
I
in
still
clarity. He sat there for a long
belong
time.
to you.
I watched him cycle through all of it. The guilt, the
People
exposure,
tell
the
me
wounded
keep
pride,
on
before
moving,
something finally
that
settled into what
some
looked,
endings
for the
must
first time, like
remain.
shame. Real shame,
But how do
not
I
performed.
stop
He left that
believing
evening with
when
2
your
bags.
name
I
still
sat on the
calls
back
my
porch with Caden until the sky
pain?
went dark. And for the
I'm
first time in
still
weeks, I
waiting
breathed all the
for
way
your
down. Proud of
footsteps,
you, he
though
said.
I know
I'm proud of
they'll
you too,
never
I said
come.
quietly, and I meant
Holding
every
on
syllable.
to
It has
broken
been 87 days
echoes
since
of
day
the
30.
love
The divorce is
already
moving.
gone.
Sloan
I'm
is steady
still
and sharp
waiting
and worth
for
every
your
conversation.
return,
The financial
though the
records I
stars
kept,
say
the
it's
ones Trey used to
untrue.
tease me about, calling me
Somewhere
obsessive
deep
for saving receipts
inside
and
this
logging
broken
everything,
heart,
turned out to be the
I
architecture of
still
my own exit. The house is mine.
belong
The
to
history is clear. Priya and I talk every day. She said sorry 100 times for not telling me sooner, and I forgave her 100 times. Because real friendship is not flawless. It is honest, eventually. That's enough. He said,
Maybe
I saw it
hope
for
is
years.
just a
I kept
prison.
hoping he'd figure himself
Maybe
out.
love
I'm
can
sorry he
blind
didn't.
the soul.
I thanked him and I meant
But
it.
even though
I don't know what
you
happened with
won't
Jordan.
find me,
I don't need to.
still
What I know is
wait
this.
here.
The 30 days didn't break my marriage. They revealed it. There is a difference between something breaking and something being seen clearly for the first
Though
time.
I know
A
they'll
broken thing
never
fades.
come.
A revealed thing was always
Holding on
exactly
to
what it was.
broken
You just finally
echoes
had the
of
courage to
love
look at it from the full light.
already
My
gone.
mother told me not
I'm
to.
still
Standing in
waiting
the kitchen
for
with
your
flour on my
return. Though the
Not looking
stars
at me,
say
but
it's
meaning every
untrue.
word. Noelle,
Somewhere
you are too
deep
much woman to keep
inside
shrinking
this
yourself
broken
while
heart,
the ankle
I
refuses to grow.
still
Mama, I hear you now. I am not bitter.
belong
Bitterness would mean I'm still spending energy on Trey Calloway, and I don't have a single calorie left for that. I'm free. I planted something new. This time, I planted it in ground that belongs to me.